Um, back to Romans 9 and 13 again says, "As I is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated." So the white man is going to not going to write this in the book. It says that, according to so-called black conscious people and even some white people, that this Bible is a white man book. It's not going to say that. It's going to say Esau have I loved, but Jacob have I hated, because Esau is described as your white man. Now on to the third point about, they say Jesus Christ, he had blonde hair and blue eyes. And how do you worship that? Well, this is Revelations chapter 1 and verse 13. "And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man," the Son of Man being Yahushua, or who the world calls Jesus Christ ignorantly, "one like unto the Son of Man, Yahushua, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and a girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet," the things that you walk on, "like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters." So it said his feet were like fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. That's not a description of somebody that's pasty white. This is a brother that is melanated. So this is out the King James Version Bible, who everybody claims is a so-called white man, which is easily dispelled. And if you read even more, you will learn that this is not a white man's book. It talks about the Israelites being of color, having melaninated skin. This is but also, of course, you have some Israelites that's not going to all be dark skinned as well. This is Jeremiah 14 and 2. It says, "And the word of Yahweh that came to Jeremiah concerning the dearth, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish, they are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up." So Judah is described as being black unto the ground. If you look at the ground, if you dig deep, you will see that it's black, and the deeper you go, it gets even darker. So it's talking about Judah is a melanated tribe. The Jews at this time were talked about as being black. You don't have the Jews being talked about as being leprous. The scripture says also, I'm going to get in over here in Numbers. Numbers chapter 12 and verse Numbers chapter 12 and verse 7. "My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of Yahweh shall he be behold. Wherefore, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" Because it's talking about Miriam. She spoke against Moses. "And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Yahweh, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Because we don't have all your pigmentation when you first born. Even for brothers that are melanated, you get darker. So they said, lay not this sin upon us, because she was leprous, white as snow. Why didn't they say, hey man, yeah, what a blessing? Because the Israelites were a dark-skinned race. Yahushua was dark-skinned himself. All of his people that he came from, the lineage they came from dark-skinned people. From Abraham, from Adam to Solomon, Isaac, Jacob. These are dark-skinned, melanated brothers. He didn't come from a line of white. And let me also go over here as well, and Daniel 7:9 to punch this hair texture in a little bit further. This is Daniel 7 and verse. It'll be 7 and verse 9 as soon as I get it. All right, this is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9. It says, and I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The thrones being the thrones of the other nations. And because Yahushua is going to be the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Yahweh's the Yahweh's, because he's going to take, and upon his head was many crowns, because he's going to take the crowns of other nations. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. Wool is referring to the texture. His hair was like the pure wool because it was tough. The hair of his head white, the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. So that's talking about the texture of his hair. Guiding, so-called Negroes are supposed to have, tough hair, tightly coiled. I believe on the hair texture charts called like 4C for like real tough, kinky hair, or some refer to it as nappy. Is talking about the hair texture. And if you look at the hair of wool, woolly hair is going to be consistent with 4C hair or 4B. This is talking about the hair texture of Yahweh, Salakia, Yahweh Shai. Now, also, if that was his hair texture, what do you see white people with hair texture like that? Certainly the image that we have of the white, blonde hair, blue eyes Jesus doesn't have hair texture like that. He has stringy hair. This is talking about hair texture. And I want to close off on one last verse. This is Acts chapter 21 and verse 38. I'll start with verse 37. And as Paul was to be led unto the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek? Art not thou that Egyptian? Egyptians are what color? They're dark-skinned, melanated. Art not thou that Egyptian which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus. So he said, no, I'm not. Paul was mistaken for being a melanated Egyptian. And that's case closed. And on that note, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honor to the apostles, elders, GMS, Ruel, and peace and salutations to elect Akim. Shalom.